I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. We turn now to page 38 of the Grade 4 Discovering Music Theory workbook, looking at exercise 8, the final section on the chapter of part 2 of keys and scales. And so now we're going to have to answer some statements relating back to this little extract here, these different scales that are shown. And it's going to call into question all of the things that we've been learning throughout this last chapter. Well, in fact, since the last 2 chapters, perhaps, if there are major scales as well. And so what do we have here? We have the scale of G sharp harmonic minor. Do we or don't we? Well, G sharp minor is related to B major, which has a key signature of F sharps, C sharps, G sharps, D sharps and A sharps, which is what we have here in the key signature. However, the harmonic minor has to have the raised 7th, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is F sharp at the present because of the key signature, and then it's raised because of the raised 7th to a double sharp, so that's correct. And so we do indeed have the scale of G sharp harmonic minor ascending going upwards, so that's true. Is it true or false that the interval between the last 2 notes is a tone? Well, we can answer that in 2 ways. We know that if it's a harmonic minor scale, which it is, we've just established that, we know that 2 to 3, 5 to 6 and 7 to 8 are semitones. And so we know that that's not correct. However, if you want to double check it, we can just refer to our little piano keyboard and we can see that F double sharp to G sharp is a semitone. It's a semitone, not a tone, so that's false. Now, is it true or false that the note B flat is the enharmonic equivalent to the supertonic of this scale? Well, the supertonic is the 2nd degree of the scale, so 1, 2. Now that is A sharp, don't forget, your key signature is active there. So is it true or false that B flat is the enharmonic equivalent to A sharp? Well, A sharp and B flat doesn't indeed sound the same, it's just written differently. So A sharp and B flat is the enharmonic equivalent of each other. Is it true or false that the relative major of this scale is E major? Well, we know that E major has a key signature of F sharps, C sharps, G sharps and D sharps. It does not have A sharps. It's actually B major is the relative major, and so that's false. E major is the relative major to C sharp minor. Now, in exercise B, we have a chromatic scale starting on C. So the way you would answer this is to have your little piano sketch to hand. And so now we're all equipped to answer this. And so do have a go and see if you can just, sketch your piano out quickly and then see if you can answer these questions, and then I'm hoping you've done that. Let's check these through together. Is it true that this is a chromatic scale starting on C? Well, we're in the alto clef. There is note C. So we have a C, then we have a C sharp, The next note up is D, D sharp. The next note is E. The next note up is F. Then we have an F sharp. The next note up is a G. We can just C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, that's right. Then we have a G sharp. Next note up is A sharp. Then we have a B. Then we have a C. We've begun and ended on C. Each note is represented at least once, but not more than twice. So everything is exactly as it should be. And so it's true, this is a chromatic scale starting on C. Now, is it true or false that changing the third note to a D flat would produce a properly written scale? Let's think about this. So we have a C sharp. So if we change this to a D flat, we're actually doing the same thing twice, aren't we? So that would be duplicating a note, not just keeping it moving upwards in semitones, because C sharp and D flat are the same, and so that's false. Is it true or false that the interval between every note is a semitone? Well, it is, because we've already proven that it's a chromatic scale starting on C, and we've already checked it through, and so every note must be a semitone, otherwise it wouldn't be a chromatic scale, so that's true. Is it true that the fourth and fifth notes of the scale are enharmonic equivalents? Well, that can't be true, because otherwise it wouldn't be a properly written chromatic scale, would it? And if we look at 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, we have a D sharp, 1, 2, 3, and then we have an E. But we know that that's not correct, because otherwise it wouldn't be appropriate. We don't have enharmonic equivalents within a chromatic scale, so that's false. And so do try this final question. It will bring into remembrance much of what you've learned in this last chapter. So is it true or false that this is the scale of B flat melodic minor descending? Well, let's think, what would that require for that to be the case? So B flat minor is related to D flat major, which has B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats, G flats, which is here. So that's correct. Now the melodic minor, when it's a descending, it's the key signature only, isn't it? And here, that would not be appropriate, because we wouldn't change anything, it's just the key signature. What we have here is a raised seventh, and so what we've actually got here is the harmonic minor. So that's false. Is the relative key of this scale E flat major? Well, E flat major has B flats, E flats and A flats. We have far more than that going on here. And we know that B flat minor is related to D flat major, so that's false. Is it true or false that the interval between these first two notes is a tone? Well, we can answer that in two ways. We know that this is the harmonic minor scale, and we know that counting upwards, 2 to 3, 5 to 6 and 7 to 8 are semitones. So the first two notes here is a semitone. However, you can just look at that on your little diagram of a piano keyboard, and you can see that we have a B flat and then we have an A natural, and that's a semitone. We can see that just in isolation if we prefer to do it that way. And so that's false, it's a semitone. So that's false. Now, is it true or false that the supertonic of this scale is C? So the supertonic is the second degree of the scale. So the first degree is B flat, the second is C. C is not affected by the key signature, it's just C natural. and so that is true. And that's the end of that exercise, that's the end of that page, that's the end of that chapter. We will get some more opportunity to look at this topic again when we come to the practice exam paper, but for now I suggest that you just let that information settle and then you can do a bit of revision before we come back to it again later. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons, you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.